Mama, and I wanted to make a video because I was on the HCG diet and I really didn't know what I was doing, and there was a lot of information on the internet, but I read a lot of things, but I still felt like I needed more help. And so I complained to my husband about it, that there just wasn't enough out there. So he said, why don't you make your own video so you can help other people? So that's what I'm doing. I did the first round a few months ago and I lost 40 pounds, and my daughter's getting married in 3 months, so I need to lose a total of about 90 or 100 pounds. But this time my goal is 30 pounds, and so I'm on day 2. Yesterday I weighed in at 234.8, and this morning I did my drops all day yesterday, and I didn't cheat even though there was delicious cake and stuff around the house. And this morning I weighed in at 229 point something, so I lost like quite a bit, 4.5 pounds or so. That's, for somebody my weight, I guess that happens a lot where you lose more. Somebody that's thinner, they don't lose as much. My daughter, she only needs to lose 10 pounds more for her wedding, and she lost 3 pounds the first day. So the first 2 weeks she'll lose quite a bit. Sometimes you'll lose only a half a pound, sometimes not any, for a few days. But this is by far the best diet. I've tried everything, and I thought I would go to my grave being fat because nothing worked, or I'd lose a little bit and then I'd gain it all back really quickly. So HCG is really working, and so I'm still like 30-some pounds less than what I was originally, even though I went off of it for a while and the holidays and parties and stuff. So I'm back on track, and I'm going for my next 30 pounds. So let's do this together. First thing I want to show you is that, okay, you can have lean beef, okay? I went and I bought a roast. You can buy steaks, but something that's, as lean as you can find in the stores. Lean chicken breast, lean boneless, skinless chicken breast, and you can have 100 grams. Okay, so what I did is I just got a piece of plastic. You can get saran wrap or whatever kind of thin plastic, and what I do is I weigh them out, and then I put them in little Ziploc bags and put them in the freezer, so you don't have to do this every day. So this piece here is 56 grams, so I'm just going to keep putting more on here until I get up to my 100. And that's 122, too much. Sarah? Yeah. And keep it at 100. And this will be one portion, exactly 100. You can see that on the scale. And if it was in ounces, let's see what it would be. 3.6. So if you don't have a gram scale, it's about 3.5 ounces, okay? And so this is for the beef. Then we can put this in a Ziploc bag, or just set them, like in little portions, and then put them all in bags and put them in your freezer. And so then I do the same thing with my chicken, because every day you don't have time for this. You want to just go quickly, working, kids, things like that. You don't have time to do this every day. So this is one portion of chicken, and what I like to do is I cut it up in really small pieces, and I cook it like with a vegetable. You can have one vegetable. Yesterday I had my beef portion, and I chopped it up and I cooked it in water, and I used a lot of spices, and then I made a huge salad, okay? On the official Dr. Simeon's diet, it says you can have green salad. It doesn't just say lettuce. Okay, so you can't be putting green stuff in there like zucchini and bell peppers and other greens. I think, and this is what's worked for me, is green lettuce. So I use like the butter lettuce, green leaf lettuce, the purple lettuce, romaine, and I use the whole thing. I just get the head of lettuce and I chop it up, and I like to eat a lot, so I make a huge salad. And then what I did was I cut up my meat and in little pieces, and I cooked it with lots of spices and put it on top. And you're allowed to have juice of a lemon. I only took a little piece and squeezed it on there with lots and lots of spices, and I had a wonderful big meal. And so that's what we're going to do, is we're going to make a couple meals real quick. And so I cut up my meat really small, and let's see. And then I try to get the biggest. You're allowed 1 tomato, 1 onion, or 1 apple, 1 orange. So go to the store and get the biggest one that you can find. You can't have 2 small ones for some reason, but you can have a really large one. So I get a huge onion and I chop it up and I cook it with my meat and caramelize the onion with spices, and it's wonderful. Or a huge tomato and I chop that up and make a meal out of that. But I noticed when I was looking at other videos, you can look up HCG meals, and people don't follow them. They'll mix all kinds of vegetables together, and the food looks great, but I tried that and I did not lose weight. I don't know why. You cannot mix vegetables. Okay, you cannot mix fruits. You know, you can see on there they say, oh, make a fruit salad. They mix all these fruits together. For me and for most people that I've talked to, it doesn't work. So you really got to be strict. If you want this diet to work, which it does, it works great, you have to be really strict. I have all kinds of spices. You should not use things like bouillon. We had a friend that was using, bouillon seasoning. She didn't lose anything because there's a lot of oil and sugar and stuff in it. So you want to use natural spices like pure cinnamon, pure garlic, cayenne pepper. I love cayenne pepper. Black pepper, onion powder, basil is really good. And seasoned salt, you have to be really careful because you don't want the kind that has monosodium glutamate, or it's a preservative, or sugars in it. I have one favorite that I absolutely love, and I wouldn't be able to endure this diet if I didn't use at least a little bit of it. It hasn't bothered me, but each person, is different. Like with cinnamon, I'm not really big on apples, but I read on the internet that you can do apples and bake them and put cinnamon on it and bake them in the oven. So what I did is I got my apple, I chopped it up, put a little bit of water in it, and lots of cinnamon. And then I put a little stevia on it. Stevia is a natural sweetener that is really important, and for me, because I like sweets. And I overdid it on the cinnamon, and so when I heard cinnamon, I was like, yeah, so I made cinnamon tea, lots of cinnamon in my apple, and I stopped losing weight, and I just was like upset. And I stopped for like 5 days. I didn't lose any weight, but I was drinking tons and tons of cinnamon tea and cinnamon apples, and so I think I overdid it. Some people it doesn't bother. For me it did, and for my daughter it did too. She wasn't losing weight, so we cut out using so much cinnamon. We just put a little bit on our apple now. I love tea. I buy the tea bags. The peach is my favorite. You can get all different flavors, whatever is your favorite. Orange spice. There's raspberry, cherry, blueberry. I love blueberry and peach. Peach, for some reason, I notice for me, I lose more weight with peach tea. What I do is I get 3 tea bags and I put it in like about 1 gallon of water, and I just boil it and boil it for a long time. And so it's not real strong, but it tastes really good. And then I use white stevia, and I sweeten it with stevia. And I just have hot tea during the day because it's cold in the winter. Or you can have iced tea, and just try to drink, you know, a lot. And that really helps out because, you know, it keeps you from being hungry. And I love sweets, so stevia is wonderful. I'm so grateful for that. There's also a stevia flavor that it's a natural thing. This one here is English toffee, and you can mix that with water, you know, hot water, or they have chocolate, which is really good, and you can mix that with hot water and a little more stevia because I like it sweeter, and it kind of tastes like you're drinking hot chocolate, and that's really good. Teas, to me, is much better than plain water. So, you know, I even use yerba mate. That has a lot of vitamins and minerals in it. One thing that I know for myself is really, really important is I take supplements. I take a stress B vitamin, a couple potassium pills, a multivitamin, and when you're on this diet, a lot of people complain about constipation, and magnesium really, really helps. You know, you don't need to go and buy the powdered drinks of, you know, magnesium drinks that's mixed with all of this other, you know, stuff. It's just not necessary. You could just take pure magnesium pills, and it works really great. But it's really important to take your vitamins and, you know, potassium, and it doesn't affect me at all. I'm losing weight or anything. Apples, what I noticed with the apple, instead of just eating an apple, I would get the apple, and my daughter told me about this, just cut it up really super thin in slices and put it in a Ziploc bag, and, you know, you could just, you know, just eat a little bit all day long, you know, and it goes a lot further instead of just eating it all at once. So that's just a little tip. But the oranges, you know, same thing. You can just, you know, cut them in little pieces, and, you know, you can have them for, you know, for breakfast, and last for a couple hours, you know, because I try to not have my meat meals until later in the day, because that's when you get the hungriest. So, okay, we're going to cook a couple meals real quick, and so we can show you how to do this.